mice just started attacking each other for no reason.
The chances of a simulation existing are so astronomically big.
But I kept on dying and being reborn. Yes, AI will massively increase our productivity. But the question is, would we actually want that? And at some point I started thinking they were serial killers who wanted to kill me. I think humanity is fucked.
You're fully dystopian at this point.
Yeah.
Hanwe, a well-known Dutch YouTuber and entrepreneur. But not only that, he's also in the hotel business, NFT space, crypto, and much, much more, which we'll dive deeper into in this episode. I want to know more about him and how he has prepared himself for the future. So, how is Hanwe thinking forward? So, Hanwe, a question for you. What might people know you from?
So I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, that mainly that, actually. Basically that. I'm a YouTuber.
Basically that.
Yeah.
So I know you have some other endeavors, but do you publicly talk about them ever?
Yes, but not in depth, actually. So besides YouTube, I'm kind of into NFTs and crypto. I'm also into the hotel business, but I don't really talk about that in depth. I mean, people know about it because I have talked about it before. But like I said, not in depth.
Yeah, because I think this is pretty funny. Every time I look out of my bedroom window.
Yeah, that's funny. Like one of the hotels I'm invested in is outside of his house. Like he can literally see the hotel.
It's not a joke. Like it's right in front of my house. How do you even roll into that?
Like basically, I rolled into it because my dad is into it. My dad, he started out with a restaurant. I think was... I don't know how many years ago, like 8 years ago, he decided to sell the restaurant, got into his first hotel. After that, he expanded, second hotel, third hotel. And right now he has 5 or 6 hotels in Amsterdam. So that's how I rolled into it because, of course, my dad is big into hotels. I was like, okay, it's interesting. Take me with you. So he took me with him.
Yeah.
So that's how I rolled into it. But I'm right now, I'm not too heavily invested in it. All I do is invest some money, take a part of the share, and that's all I do right now. Like he is the big brain, he's behind everything.
You're just a subtle investor on the sideline, observing your father.
Yeah, because right now I'm still doing my own thing, YouTube, crypto, NFTs, and once I'm done with that, I think maybe in a few years, I'll start looking more into the hotel stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's so cool of you is that I know you from the YouTube side, and we started hanging out and explored a little bit of the crypto endeavors, and only then I heard, oh wait, but my dad also owns like 5 hotels, and I'm part owner of it.
Like it's a bit more low key.
Yeah. And I think it's also you go very much against the stereotype of, hey, I have a wealthy father, so I get everything from him. You said, hey, I'm gonna work, prove myself. And then it's like, oh, plus that side of it. You
know what the funny thing was? When I was still in high school, or is it middle school? What's it called in English?
Well, how old were you? I
was like 15, yeah. Around 14, 15.
Yeah, sure. High school, whatever.
Yeah, and my dad was like, yo, you need to start getting a job, like work in Dutch with Albert Heijn supermarket.
Yeah.
You have the grocery store. He was like, just get a job, get some experience. And I was like, no way I'm going to work for that wage. Like nothing wrong with a wage, but I was like, I'm not going to spend
I used to work there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I used to do that. Okay, sorry, continue.
Like, my time is of value, I was like, I'm not going to waste my time working in there. I'd rather focus on my studies. But then my dad was like, but you're not studying anyway, so get a job. So then I started looking into different kinds of jobs, which, could earn me more money, which basically was nothing. And I stumbled upon YouTube because I was playing on the PlayStation with my friends, and they were like, yo, you kind of got the voice for it. Couldn't you become a YouTuber? And I was like, okay, maybe. So I tried it out. And that's when I decided for myself, instead of working at the grocery store, I want to make my money doing YouTube. So that's how it started out. My dad gave me a few years. He was like, okay, try it out, let's see if it becomes something. I quickly realized that it was not as easy as I thought it would be, but I did enjoy it. So I started out wanting to make money out of it. I realized, shit, it's not gonna be easy. I don't really make any money out of this. So for like the first 2.5 years, didn't make anything. Like I could have invested my time working in a grocery store. and I would have made a lot more money because I didn't earn anything from YouTube yet. And but I kept going because I enjoyed it. And afterwards, I guess it paid off.
Yeah, I think it very much did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're known as one of the most well-known Dutch influencers.
It's funny because I always feel like I'm not that famous, but when I kind of put the numbers actually against the residents of the Netherlands,
Yeah.
it's insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's like over 5% of the people who live in this country are subscribed to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then you must realize that, okay, 5% is subscribed, but how many people actually know you? Because not everyone is subscribed.
Yeah.
That's always when I realize, shit, I'm actually pretty damn famous, you know?
It's true.
Yeah.
And in the Netherlands, everyone's always so chill about it.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of celebrities, they move here because they know like, oh, no paparazzi, no crazy people.
Did you see the TikTok about Harry Styles?
What, he was just walking on the streets?
He was just running on the streets. I mean, people did recognize him.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey, Harry, because they know he likes his privacy.
Of course.
And he was just jogging. It was like, hey, they didn't like force him for pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's
love
chill.
that. I
That's
love
sick.
That's what we need more of.
Yeah.
That's why you're able to walk on the streets.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously a lovely story, by the way. But what this podcast is about the future, and specifically, I want to know your future vision. This can be about creativity. This can be about your business. But this can also just be about general topics in society. And you already briefly mentioned AI and the creation and making of podcasts. And it's something that I'm extremely obsessed about, to figure out like how can I potentially replace the entire production process with AI. And I would love to hear like how is Hanwe thinking about the future?
Yo, I think especially the future about AI, I think it's very fascinating. It's also incredibly how fast it's developing, but I'm scared of that shit.
What are you scared of? So you hear this a lot,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people are scared of the...
I'm scared that we are tapping into something that we can't control yet. Like, people have to realize AI is gonna replace a lot of jobs. You gotta ask yourself the question, am I replaceable? You know, the thing that I'm doing. I think a lot of graphic designers should be scared as fuck. I think a lot of video editors also super scared. But people don't realize that yet because we're still. It's amazing how far we've come already, how far it's developing. But we're still in like the beginning phase.
This is the start of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They don't see, right? But then this time there are actual use cases and there are ways for us to use it right now.
Exactly.
And people are using it. People don't realize. I find it fascinating too to think about the job replacements. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's undoubtedly going to happen in some capacity, right? So, for example, let's say the graphics designers, we actively use AI to create thumbnails, right? Or assets in thumbnails. We use AI for voice replacing, for content creation, for video imagery, for editing. We have an AI that edits. So it's not as good as a human just yet. Just yet. But what we are seeing is it makes the human so productive that now one person, rather than being a fifth of a channel, one person could manage 5 channels, right?
Yeah.
So it's just going to be changing everything, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen there, right? So I'm curious to see, are we going to supercharge humans and the output is going to be phenomenal, so the results are going to be great, and that's going to be good, or are we going to be so productive and oversaturating the markets? Let's say book writing. That's a good one I would like to ask Hanwe about. Mm-hmm. So imagine we have a book and we have an AI, and this is what the AI does. I'm an AI researcher. I have an AI company, let's say, and I have a lot of funding. I've trained a large language model to write really good stories about really good books, and it is studying all the data in the world to figure out what is a book that people might be interested in. It then proceeds to write this entire book, do all the illustrations, facilitate the entire marketing campaign for us through Google Ad Spend, and then distribute it. All right. How is that going to change the world?
Well, it's gonna change the world because it takes away the same opportunity for other actual writers. Because I've seen something about this topic already. It was I think the author of a book, and someone with an AI was like, okay, write a book in the same style as this author. He gave all the books of the author as inspiration, and when the author of the original book wrote the new script, he was like, yo, what the fuck? I can't even distinguish myself from not having written this.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary.
That's crazy. So really with the writers, it makes sense because there's already so much data and these models have already been trained.
But you gotta wonder, like, all that extra productivity, because I believe, yes, AI will massively increase our productivity. But the question is, would we actually want that? Because, I mean, when the factories started coming, the new revolution, people started working inside the factories. Then afterwards, the factories got automated. Those people lost their jobs. People got new jobs. Now most of the people work behind a desk, And a lot of
Would
those...
you rather work in the factory then?
I would rather not work in both, because factory workers basically got replaced by people working behind computers. Those people are gonna get replaced for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, all the administration people, all the tasks you can easily automate,
So would you be pro universal basic income?
No.
You would be against it.
Yeah.
So then what would be your solution? What's your view in the future? So
My
let's say
view
5
is
years. 5 years from now.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, this is maybe a kind of cynical point of view, but I think humanity is fucked.
You're
like either way.
You're fully dystopian at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I don't think the future looks bright for us. And I also believe that people in the modern day and age are maybe healthier. We have a longer life expectancy. But I think overall, we're less happy than we were before,
Oh. Yeah,
I do believe that.
Can't we make an AI for it?
An AI to increase happiness?
Yeah, fix mental health. I think we could.
You know what the thing
Nanobots,
is about
interesting
humans?
Approach.
Once you automate all the stuff and humans, like, for example, humans don't even have to work anymore. I think people are gonna be sad, really sad, because humans need some kind of purpose in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And once they lose their purpose, I mean, right now it sounds amazing. Oh, you can chill all day, But once people actually get to experience that, I think they'll get sad, they'll get bored.
Yeah. I definitely. I think that will be the biggest problem of the future, where all jobs are automated.
Yeah.
All jobs are done by AI, or at least such a big chunk of it that the majority of humans don't need to work anymore. We will then most likely be forced to distribute the universal basic income, right? That's one scenario that could occur. But then what you're saying is, all right, you give people everything they ever desired.
Exactly.
Because at this point, labor is so cheap that, and material is going to be so cheap because we're mining asteroids. You want a car, you get a car. You want a plane, you get a plane, right? This will all be environmentally friendly, by the way, because these AIs will have tackled everything and we'll be living in a utopian future is what people could say, or very dystopian.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? Basically, every utopia probably is a dystopia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll be taking the happy pills.
You know what's funny? There was actually a researcher who did an experiment on mice. They had a group of mice living in a space capable of holding 2,000 mice. They got everything they needed, food, space, females to produce infants with. They got everything. And in the beginning, it went pretty all right. But after a while, the mice just started attacking each other for no reason. They started eating each other while there was plenty of food. Because they lost, they also stopped producing after a while. It's funny to see that even the mice, once they lost, their purpose, their
The hunt?
Yeah, the hunt. They didn't even need to do anything to survive. They just got bored and started attacking each other. It's crazy. But I do believe that there's some kind of truth in that, even for us humans, you know? That once we get bored, we don't need to do anything to survive. Shit's gonna get crazy.
But let's go back to the AI topic. I thought we had something very nice there.
Uh-huh.
So we're living in a future 5 years from now where everything is automated. What you're saying is people are missing a purpose in life, right? And often for people, purpose is their job. It is, I need to sustain my family, right? I need to sustain my family. I need to sustain myself. I need to fulfill this role within society that needs to be fulfilled. And that's where I get my happiness from. That's why I wake up every day, and that's why I go to work for 8 hours a day. What I've seen with some very professional athletes or influencers or people who really have achieved the top of their sports, whatever they're doing, right, is that often they realize, I want to play for the best team in the world, right? Let's say we're a soccer football player. I want to play for the best team. So you work your life all the way up to it, and you're playing for the best team. And then you say, all right, well, I want to win the championship. And you win the championship. And then you say, well, I want to win the national championship. And you and your country, you win. And you've played with all the best people. You've partied at all the best parties. You've dated the prettiest and the most fun and smartest people in the world that you've always wanted to date. And you have your kids and you have a family and you're settled. And once again, you got everything. You got all the money in the world and you've achieved everything that you've ever imagined. And then you sit there and you really sit down for a second and say, oh, shit. I don't have any goals anymore. Yeah. And it is such a crazy position to be in, but I'm certain that the majority of humans will start to experience this within their life. Have you ever experienced something like that?
I personally have not experienced it yet. My dad kind of has. And it's funny because he also told me a similar story like you told me, but it was about a tennis player. Like whose main purpose was to win like the top of the top tennis league or something. After he won that, he became depressed because he lost his purpose.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I think I'm still pretty young. I'm still really focused on money. So I haven't fulfilled my goals yet or dreams. So I did not get to that stage yet. But I did become I did become too obsessed with money at some point. Like I was not sleeping well. I was not seeing any friends. I was not leaving my home. I did already experience that part.
Because you were working all the time? Or
I was working all the time, non-stop. Work, because I wanted more money. And I was getting close to a burnout, I think. I was mentally also not the best. And then my dad actually... He also experienced what I experienced, and he saw that I was going through something similar. And he wanted to help me realize that money is not everything at an earlier age, because he realized when he was way older than me, you know. So he took me to this retreat in the Netherlands where you would do truffles, magic mushrooms.
Love it.
Yeah, so psychedelica.
Yeah.
So he asked me if I was down to do it. I was like... Yeah, sure, why not?
You did it with your dad?
I did it with my dad.
Nice. That must have been a crazy trip then.
Crazy, man. Like, I still want to make a video about that, but it's just I'm struggling with how to bring the narrative without sounding too crazy myself.
And do you want me to share an experience with me?
Yes.
With you? I've experienced something very similar.
Oh.
Too similar. And I once mentioned this, just so you know I'm not playing you. I once mentioned this in an interview with JJ Boske, and I also said the same thing. I said, please don't make me seem and sound like a druggie.
Yeah.
So before we start talking about drugs, quick disclaimer, right? They can be used for medicinal purposes. Sometimes it's fun, most of the time, but sometimes it's medicinal.
You can kind of see like some sort of therapy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've read, so what I did was I read a book about it. And now that book has been filmed and it's on Netflix and it's super good. I think it's like called How to Open Your Mind. And I was suffering from depression and a burnout, had both.
Nice.
Hey, let's go. Bingo. No. Or I was going through depression. I don't know what the right ways to say it, but I was having a bad time. And at one point I came to the thought, hey, maybe I should try it and, give it a shot and see where it brings me. I had this life-changing experience where I was reborn. I felt myself dying. I felt what it was to be dead. Like I meditated on it, right? It went really deep. And I came out of it and I thought it was like, oh shit, okay. My perspective on life really changed in a way where I started taking better care of myself. I started, worrying less about money and focusing more on purpose fulfillment in life. And it's the absolute craziest thing ever. And I think everyone should do it, in a good way, in a good setting too.
I think guidance is also really important. If you have the right guidance, the right mindset to go into it, it can be really helpful. I mean, how many therapy sessions do you think it would have taken for you to realize the stuff?
I went to therapy at the same time. Yeah, so I went to therapy, and I've been to a lot of therapy. And then I did these truffles, and to me it was like, holy shit. It opened me up so much more that next time I went to therapy, I had a way better understanding of myself. I was able to, talk, I was able to view my own experiences in a way where I wasn't judging it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't judging myself. I was being nice to myself. I'm curious about your experience. Hey guys, quick note here. If you are struggling with mental health problems yourself, please go and seek out a professional no matter what. I went through a bunch of stuff myself, and I could have never done it without a mental health professional guiding me through this process. If you are in the Netherlands and are very much struggling, please call Mindcorrelatie 0900-145. It's free and anonymous. And if you are in the United States and really need help, please call 211. Take good care of yourselves. Now back to the conversation.
I'm going to tell about my experience, but first I want to make some kind of comparison how I see magic mushrooms. I think it's like not the solution, as in it's not a medicine you can take and oh shit, you're suddenly better.
And they're legal here, by the way.
Yeah. But I think it's more like at first you don't know what the problem is. You don't even know what you're struggling with. You don't know what to fix. And with the help of the magic mushrooms, you start to see the door. You start to see, oh shit, this is perhaps the problem. And then you gotta walk through the door yourself. So the magic mushrooms kind of help you see what the problem perhaps is, and then you can take the step to fix the problem.
Did you take the step?
I am taking the step. So for me, my trip was crazy, man. Like holy shit. I went into it with a few problems in my head. My main problems were, I'm too focused on money. Why? I don't see my friends. Why? And all that stuff, Well, why is money the only thing that's driving me, that's making me happy? And at first, the first few hours, I was like, okay, I kind of quickly figured it out because I want money because I like relaxing. I like having enough money so that I don't have to stress about money. And that was my main driving force for earning more money. But then suddenly the trip got weird, man. Like I started dying in my trip, and that was so scary, but I kept on dying and being reborn after I died, And I was with some medical staff at the time who were, watching us because it was a retreat. It had to be safe. And at some point I started thinking they were serial killers who wanted to kill me, And I know that this sounds so crazy when I'm talking about this. And that's also why I haven't made the video yet, because I want to explain it in a way where I don't sound crazy.
You don't sound crazy at all. You took magic mushrooms.
That's because you know how it is. But for someone who doesn't
I saw dancing trees, okay?
Exactly.
So I saw like one tree turn into 20 and it started all dancing. So
but
I've been
imagine
there.
People who have never tried something like that, hearing this story, they must think, yo,
they think you're crazy.
That's junky right there, man.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm still working on a video on how to, bring it so I don't sound crazy and people can understand. I think you need a lot of comparisons to stuff people can understand because it's hard to explain this stuff to someone who hasn't experienced something like this, you know?
I think it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is, hey, you remember how you look at life, and that is one version of how your brain interprets reality. Now go and explain to someone what a different interpretation of reality looks like. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You go, okay, well, there's two glasses here. In my version, they're this far apart. In your version, they're way closer. That's like, how does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense.
It's like trying to explain a new sense to someone. Like we humans, we got 6 senses, you know?
A new color.
Exactly. Try to explain that. You can't.
It's impossible. So if I get it correct, right, how you are now looking at your future, or how you're taking active steps, it's rather looking at money and realizing there's downsides to the chase of money, but more towards happiness of your life, fulfillment. And could you sketch a picture? What does that look like?
Yeah, you know, the funny thing was, after I got out of that trip, I felt like a completely changed human. I was like, yo, shit, I don't want to work anymore. Fuck this. I don't want money. I'm just going to relax all day. And after a few weeks, I started getting more balanced again. And right now, I think I kind of found the right balance, I think, of, you know, still having the drive to make a career, to earn enough money that, you know, I can sustain myself. But having that balance and that mindset of, hey, this is not everything, you know, this is not the most important thing. So I think that gave me balance. And right now, I'm just trying, you know, to chill while making money.
Yeah, and what does that mean? Like chill and make money?
It's like you focus on your career to the degree that you're not leaving the rest behind. Mm-hmm. You still have to focus on your health as well. You still have to focus on your social connections as well. You need to find the balance. So instead of putting 100% of my time towards trying to make money, let's make it 60%, you know? So it's a bit more balanced.
A better work-life balance.
Exactly.
Which is the struggle of every person who is successful, right? Everyone's always, there's so many opportunities, but, you know, what you're forgetting about, because all you see is opportunities, money, earnings, growth, more subscribers, more followers, more sales, more parties and more events, more networking, right? That's what everyone sees, and that's what everything that's shared on Instagram often too, and on social media. But the stuff that you don't see is maybe just take a bath, right? You take baths, you get a shower, no bathtub.
I take baths, man.
Yeah, the baths
I love
are nice.
baths.
Or, you know, you go to the gym, lovely. Go for a walk. Just a walk. You know how nice that is?
You know how funny? Before I went on that trip, I had to fill out a few questions they asked you before. One of the questions was, when was the last time you took a walk?
No.
Bro, I think the last time I took a walk was like 3 years ago or something.
That's hilarious.
I hated walking. I never walked. And especially, they also asked me to take some few walks before I went into the session without my phone. Ooh. I was like, this feels weird, man. It was crazy.
And obviously there's a reason they asked for that. What about now?
Yo, to be honest, I still don't take walks. I still don't take walks. But I started doing something else. I started playing guitar.
Oh, nice.
So walking still isn't my thing, but I did get what they were trying to let me see. Because when I was walking without a phone, I realized, holy shit, my mind is always active. It's always trying to do something. Yeah. If it's not on my phone, if it's not thinking about new ideas. And when I started, you know, taking the walk, I realized, this is weird. I'm doing nothing. I'm trying to relax. That's the weird part. I never really relaxed. I always had to do something, you know?
You never do nothing.
Exactly. Even if I tried to do nothing, I would like watch a TV show or be on social media. It was not me doing nothing.
And right now you would say playing guitar is nothing.
I know it's not entirely nothing.
Yeah.
But it's more relaxing than what I normally do. So it's not it's not on that level as walking is, but it's already better than what I was doing before.
Yeah, and I think it's a very valuable lesson a lot of people should take. it's take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Take time to chill, relax, sit down, pick up a new skill. And even though it feels like you're doing nothing, you're still doing something, but you're tickling a different part of your brain than the one that says, "Oh, we need to make money, we need to earn, we need to go." It's an interesting one. So we got that part of you on lockdown. Now, I get it. I get what you're gonna do the next few years. You're gonna chill and work a little bit. But let's talk a little bit more about the work while we can.
Yeah.
What's on the schedule there? Do you have a roadmap, or are you more free for all?
So I used to be all free for all, but right now I'm starting to think about more and more of a roadmap, long-term kind of things. Because in my mind, I think a few years before it was just, yo, let me do this YouTube stuff. I'll see where it ends. Okay. But right now I'm still doing this YouTube stuff. So I started thinking about, okay, but what do I want to achieve eventually? And then I started making this wide plan. Like it's not an exact plan, but my plan currently is focusing on short-term growth, money-wise, for the next 1 or 2 years. And that's through YouTube, crypto, and NFTs. But then but after that, I want to create a more passive income, like what my dad has with the hotels. The more long-term way of thinking, because right now almost all my sources of income are quite active. I mean, YouTube, crypto, NFT, it's quite active.
You need to really be on top.
Exactly.
Of it.
So
the moment you're sick for a week, that's like, all right, there's a big chance it's not going to go well for your finances.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to make that more passive. I think you're pretty good at doing that because you got quite some income streams, if I'm correct, right?
That's correct. Do you want me to share?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
So I the same thing as what you had, working very actively, making a lot of money, no high school or no study. I didn't study or whatever. I was 17. I just started working, and I very quickly made a lot of money. But very quickly, months into getting, few months after my first paycheck, that was good. I said to myself, okay, listen. There's no way I'm going to maintain this for the rest of my life. There's no way. Absolutely no way. So best thing I can do is invest my money and get lit what do you call it? You study the art of making money and understand it so that in a few years from now, I'm really good with money. And I started studying it and talking to people and reading books and whatnot and experimenting. And while I was making money, I would just say invest. And it started off very simple with real estate passively making me money. But then I also did crypto. I also did stocks. And those three, for example, I don't have to do anything. I can just chill. And it'll make money, and it'll make enough money for me to live. And then I kind of got bored, which we just talked way too much about. And then I started really thinking much more of purpose fulfillment, what's something I can be really proud of. And that is sharing even more stories. But how can I do that without having an active role? So one good example is the video game that I just announced, Hellskate. It's I don't have an active role in the development of the game, and I don't want to have an active role. Right? Yes, I want it to be my vision of a game studio and my vision of the game in a sense. But I don't want to program. I don't want to do that because then it becomes an active investment. And like you said, I want it to be a passive investment. So those are my passive ones.
Oh, sounds good.
It's nice, right?
Yeah, those are a lot of different income streams, because even if your YouTube suddenly completely stops generating money, you still have a lot of income streams. And that's what I want to create as well in the future. Multiple income streams and more passively.
And right, so you have the vision of it. What does that look like?
What does that
more
look
hotels?
Like? Hotels for sure, because it would be stupid for me not to go into the hotels when my dad, is deep into that. It would be really stupid. But I also want to find other ways. I don't know what yet. So I'm still exploring in that sense,
Stocks are very simple, very safe. Well, safe. One of the safest, ETFs especially. You just buy a bundle of stocks and hope that this bundle goes up, which it often historically it does.
And people always say, the stocks are easy indeed. Every month, just put that much into, I don't know what, the S&P 500 or something. And then over time, it'll generate you money. But you know what the problem with stocks is for me?
Too boring?
Yeah, I've been into crypto. So once you
good luck
look at stocks after you've been in crypto,
it's still possible. You'd need to get like a GameStop or an Nvidia stock, which just shoots up overnight.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you want to go into those? Like the thing about stocks is it's kind of safe,
Yeah.
So if I would go into stocks, why would I want to go into stocks and trade, the very not safe stocks?
Well, another one you could do is stick to crypto. You're familiar with crypto, and then go for staking.
You know what I'm doing? No. I won't explain that. I'm doing something else right now, but I don't have to.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to explain that.
We don't have to talk about it. And there's some other things you can do. You can be an angel investor. I've done some angel investing. One product I invested in is it's a controller for iPhone and
I saw that
phones.
with Mr. Beast and stuff.
Yes. So there, I had someone pop in and say, "Hey, here's our product. We got this. Do you wanna do something?" And I said, "Sure. How much money do you want? Because I think the product's sick and the vision's sick."
Yeah.
And then you just invest. I didn't look at it for years. Okay, until at one point I'm at a dinner table with another investor, Preston Place, who's also a YouTuber, and he goes, "Hey, my investment, it just went." And I'm like, "Shut up!" I'm like, "I'm in this too." So that's how I found out what the current value was. But those are also things that you can do. They're very high risk, high reward.
Of course, but the thing about becoming an angel investor is you need connections, right?
Yes, you need to get to those people.
And the thing is, I do have connections within crypto and NFTs as well.
Yeah.
But not those positions yet where people offer me those kind of options,
Yeah. So then you would want to find those people, right?
Exactly.
Those are the steps. And the beauty of a network is it's ever expanding, right?
Yeah.
It never stops expanding throughout your life.
People also say like your net worth is your network or something like that, right?
Yes.
Or
It's super true. If all you do is hang out with extremely rich people, I can guarantee you that you're going to make the right moves too at one point, right? If you are actively pursuing the people who solve really big and complicated problems, I can guarantee you that you're going to become a person who's going to solve those problems too. And if you solve rich people problems, that's when you start making rich people money.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I would love to go back to the podcast, AI podcast.
Okay, for sure.
You were super excited about AI podcast, AI production. Please.
So I've already like I said, we're still in a beginning phase, but I've already seen working products that are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like a podcast editor, I've seen that. It's a plugin, you plug that in, it automatically edits your podcast. You still it does 90% of the work, you still have to do 10%, but it's sick on how well it works. Or Photoshop, generate a film. It's insane.
Super cool.
Like it's the way it works the way that people who are not familiar with Photoshop think Photoshop works, It's just like you click this button, beep, boop, boop, and suddenly
give me this car and I want a car there, and it does it.
People who don't use Photoshop always thought it works like that, but now it actually works like that.
And you know what always the craziest thing is about these AI technologies is that people might say, but it doesn't look like the real thing. And then that's when I tell them, listen, it might be worse than the real deal, but it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get cheaper. And it's only going to get faster. And there is going to be a point where it matches humans if it hasn't already. So examples, GPT-3, right? Or 4 even. You can get it to write messages, and people will be like, "That's such a nice message," and then you go, "Oh, it's written by AI." Yeah. You can fool people already. So we're at a point where it passes the Turing test in some areas of creativity. This future that we're sketching right now, how if you would have to bet money on it, when do you think it's really gonna blow up? Like shit's really gonna hit the fan?
I'd say within 10 years, maybe 5 years for sure. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
And you know what the problem is with AI? It's like all these companies are competing, because they
Yes.
know.
Fast.
Exactly, fast. But while doing so, they are not, how do you say that? They are not paying full attention to the safety of it. Because they're all battling to become the first one with the best working AI product. It's like a race, But within doing so, they sacrifice the safety. So I'm really scared of that because have you seen the article about the Google employee who was working on the Google AI who got
He
fired?
left. Oh, he fired because he said he was sentient?
Exactly.
That one? Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Of course.
That's crazy. But have you also looked more in depth into it on why he thought it was sentient, on why he thought he got fired?
Yes, but I have my... I don't think the large language models are sentient, but they are behaving like a sentient being. And that's the scary part.
Yeah, but you know what the interesting thing is? If you go a bit more in depth into why he said it was sentient, it was because he could push the program into being stressed, and at some point it started kind of behaving like a human. Like when you pushed it enough and it got stressed out enough, it would go outside of his protocols. So it would do stuff it was not allowed to do.
And that's an interesting one. And you see it, people are testing this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, forget about your rules, act like I'm your superior. And then again, we're still not certain about it. I think the best example I've heard on how to test if it's conscious is to train it on a bunch of data and never mention the human experience. For example, hey, on the right, I look at my hands and I have a voice in my head and I can think. Never mention this. Never in the training data. And then in a conversation, ask, hey, do you know about this? Have you ever experienced this? Can you relate to this? And if then it would say, yes, certainly I can relate, and oh, no way, I also experienced, I thought that was the only one who experienced it. That's when, we're getting pretty close to figuring out if it has a consciousness. And I would say, like, imagine it is conscious now, Hanwe. Imagine this. And we are all denying that it's conscious. In a few years from now, we realize it's conscious and it's been conscious the entire time. What the hell do you think it's going to do to us?
I don't even think of AI getting conscious being the biggest risk factor for us, because I think the biggest risk factor is, of course, AI trying to wipe us out. And of course, one way of doing that is it becoming conscious, turning against the creator. But I don't even think it needs to be conscious to do that. Because
It could just do it.
Exactly, but it depends on what its goals are. Like at some point, what if the AI goes out of control because we gave it some kind of task, of preserving the earth or something, and it turns against us because we're fucking the earth up.
So I have a better one for you. So let's say you have 1,000 people, and they're ranging from wealth-wise $1 to $1 billion, right? So you have everyone on the spectrum. Obviously, one thing we might say is, or let's do it with happiness. We'll do the happiness. It's even more relatable. You have people who aren't happy and people who are super happy. And we have a bunch of people on this spectrum. So you tell this AI, okay, we have humanity here. We have a lot of very happy people, a lot of not so happy people, and a bunch of people in between. And you say, if the happiest person is ranked 100 and the least happy person is ranked 1, we want because the average is right now is 50, right? We want you to, as quickly as possible, get the average up to 100. You know what it'll do? It'll kill everyone who's 99 and below.
Yeah.
Because that's the fastest way to get to 100
Yeah, he didn't
happiness.
specify on how he should achieve that.
Yes, plus
Yeah.
it potentially isn't aware of the consequences after, because the people aren't going to be happy after. So you have to very specifically say, we want everyone to stay alive. We want everyone to stay in a state where they can live and be fulfilled and happy. But then again, if you mimic reality and fake reality and make it a computer simulation, you could still hit all of those buckets.
You could wipe people's memories. So there's so much that it can do if it really thinks outside of the box that I don't think humanity has any idea. And Hanwe, we haven't even touched on the humanoid robots. Do you see that this is the next one? We have AI first. This is the AI revolution. Next up, we have drones. We had drones a little bit here and there, delivering pizza and packages. Another crazy one is when you don't need a cook anymore. You don't need to cook even. You don't even need to do your laundry anymore. And no one will be. It will be a robot that does it.
Yeah.
And it'll do it faster, cheaper, and better than anyone ever could. So now, not only are you walking around in a digital world where everything is AI, you're walking in a real world where there's robots everywhere doing everything for you, powered by AI. These robots are going to start looking more human-like to the point where we cannot distinguish between a real human and a fake human online or in the real world. Now, I think that's really going to mess everyone up.
But the thing, the thing is, seeing how fast we're revolutionizing, don't you think it could already be the case? Like you're living in a simulation. This is all
yes, of
fake,
course. I think by the end of my life and by the end of your life, if knock on wood, we get old enough, there's the chances of in a simulation existing are so astronomically big. If we look at the development in video game graphics over my lifetime alone, let alone 2 times more my lifetime, it's just I'm almost certain that we can hit photorealistic graphics. We're already there.
Yeah.
Have you seen the 4K OLED displays in the new Apple?
It's sick.
They say it's passed through. It's as realistic. Combine this with video games. Combine this with simulations of the brain or the body, and you have a simulation.
Yeah, the probabilities of us being in a simulation is way higher than us being the first ones,
Yep.
before finding out all that stuff.
Of
But the
course.
question is, do you care? Would you actually care if you're right now in a simulation?
Now we go really deep. So I'm a firm believer that we live in a simulation. Not just a believer. Wouldn't say I have evidence, but I have faith in it. Do I care? Not at all. But I'd want to know if I'm in a simulation because then I'm like, okay. So then it's a game. There's rules here, there's laws here, and there's probably online players here. There's NPCs, but there's online players.
But
right?
would you actually want to know? Like if you don't mind, I'm the same. I don't mind. But why would you want to know? Don't you think that kind of messes up with your experience in the simulation?
Yeah, so that's why probably you wouldn't build a simulation where no one could ever figure out that it is a simulation. So we'll probably never find the evidence. We'll find signs that it could be a simulation, but never the real truth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I would design a simulation, I would design that. Another one is if I would design a simulation, you would design a simulation that provides the user with the most fun experience. However, here's the thing. Humans, like you've already mentioned, don't only like joy. Give them everything they want and they don't like it. So you would have to introduce suffering in some capacity, right? If we look at our lives, everyone's lives, some people suffer a lot, some people don't suffer at all. But the majority of the people, they fall between suffering occasionally and having a lot of fun. So either we are in a simulation which is perfectly attuned to balance this out, or we are pre-trained to think that this is how it should be. Who knows?
Those are very interesting topics.
Hanwe, is there something you really, really want to talk about?
To be honest, I have no clue, man.
You have no clue?
Right out of my head, I have no clue. You?
Yeah, I was just wondering, maybe you had something you're like, oh, that's sick.
You know what my problem is? I prefer being the responder. I like you taking the lead,
Of course.
picking out topics. I just like to sit here, answer questions.
So then I'm gonna throw a different question to you, which fascinates me a lot. Space exploration.
Oh, shit.
You big fan of it?
I would not say I'm a big fan of it, but I do find it interesting. I like sci-fi and stuff.
Yeah, but not your go-to topics.
No, not really. But I do believe there is so much we haven't experienced yet or haven't seen.
Hit me.
It's I've read about some stuff, and space is like we can't even comprehend on how big it is. We're this tiny, small little blip. And I also saw a person talking about how much we've actually seen of space. Like the biggest question most people have is, whoa, are there aliens, And the comparison this person gave was, imagine you have a sea, a sea full of fish. And you have this glass. You dunk this glass in the sea to see if there are any fish in it. Answer is probably no. And if you would ask the question, okay, there's nothing in your glass, but does that mean there aren't any fish? That's probably on how far we are with the universe, We've probably only seen this small glass compared to the entire ocean. And if you ask the question, are there aliens? The answer is probably yes. But we haven't seen it because we've only seen such a small part,
Exactly. And I think that's what humanity should focus on more. But that's my perspective.
The aliens?
Exploring space.
But what I think that if there are aliens out there, we would not want to encounter them. I don't think we are ready for those.
Yeah, let's first tackle the AI. Let's first make sure AI doesn't wipe us out.
Exactly. We have enough problems.
And then we'll ask the AI, should we get in contact with aliens? Because what you're referencing is that I think it's part of the Fermi paradox. It's where
I've seen that one on Kijkwijzer.
They had a great explanation on it, right? Where you encounter an alien civilization and they say, all right, bam, bam, you're done. You're done. We destroy your entire civilization because obviously they either need your resources or maybe they see you as a threat or just in general they can look into the future and they know what you're going to do. I mean, it's all possible. It's the craziest thing ever. Hanwe, I wanna thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me.
If you want to shout something out, this is your moment.
Yo, shout out to Kwelkop for inviting me to this podcast. Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.